Alrighty, guys. Getting everything set up here. Hopefully, you guys had a great trading day out there. Hopefully, you guys been trading well. Alright, go like this. Alrighty, guys. Getting everything set up here. Hopefully, you guys had a great trading day out there. Hopefully, you guys been trading well. Alright, so edit this video. Chad, FS, Subis, what's up? Alright, guys. So, change documents. Today was technically only minus 2.7K on the day. Oh, today's the 10th. Save. Cool. Alright, cool. I'm just getting everything set up. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day out there. Hopefully you guys been trading well. I am live going over my trading day down. Minus 2. Whoops. All right, cool. There's that. Just getting everything set up, guys. Hopefully, you guys had a great trading day out there. Hopefully, you guys been trading well. Today is a day that, you know, it's a small loser, but I'm down on realized pretty good. But I want to go over kind of, you know, why that is and my thought process on everything. So give me a moment here. I'll set everything up here in a second. All right, so trading floor. Cool. And then I'll post that. I got to post that right here. Like this. Oops. Of course that happened. What's going on, Gruber? Christopher Cormier, what's up? I kind of have to do a quick stream today, but I want to go ahead and get this done properly here, so just give me a second. All right. I know today was, you know, kind of a crazier day when we're talking about PETZ, but I want to go ahead and go over why I like it. Just give me a second here. All right, TSLA, we can do BBLG. We can do Zynga. And lastly, let's do, what's another runner today? BFRI we can do. Alrighty, guys. Let's go live on TikTok now. 1 second. Alright, guys, we're live on TikTok now. So hopefully you guys had a great trading day out there. Today was a rough day for me, to be honest. You know, we traded a couple of different stocks, but I want you guys to trickle on in. So I'll give you guys about 20 more seconds to trickle on in, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started today, guys. Hopefully you guys already subscribe to the channel. Click the icon to alert if I make new videos. What's going on, Steve Austin? What's going on, Con, Integrator, Gruber? What's going on, Thomas, FS Mullen, Captain, Louis? What's going on, guys? Thomas, Rook, what's going on? Mike, what's going on? Alrighty, guys. So I want to go over today's trading day, okay? And I'll give it about 5 more seconds for people to trickle on in. What's going on, Brittany Arts? Alright. So that's going to be it. Alright, so today, guys, we traded hour. We lost in the morning. I really liked IPO day 2. Thought we were going to get a nice spike. We did later in the day, which I ended up capitalizing on for basically my loss on the day. Lucid was a favorite stock, but I ended up taking a loss on it. GNPX, how did that one finish? GNPX, just trickling. And then Fun was one off DWAC, and it kind of popped up, and I took a nice scalp on it. But, you know, the main thing I've been talking about all day was PETZ, obviously, okay? And, you know, PETZ, guys, obviously, you know, I'm holding this one overnight. I actually have a position in it in my inherited IRA, and I don't usually tell people, you know, what I'm in. I don't like to a whole lot because I don't like people piggybacking. At the end of the day, you guys have to trade your own plan, process, and strategy, and that's just the way it is. You guys have to make sure if it doesn't fit your criteria, no reason to trade it. No reason to trade it at all. If PETZ doesn't fit your criteria, no reason to trade it. Why would you? You have no plan, process, and strategy. You can't because, you're not trading what you usually trade. It's not up your alley, right? And I learned, in the very beginning, you have to trade, what works for you. And this is a concept that works for me. It doesn't work for everyone, and I know that some people are down, some people are up, and I hope that you're trading your plan, process, and strategy because the reality is there is no guarantees in trading. But what I will say, for me, this is something that I trade. It's a stock that's down over 80%. Any stock that's down over 80% intraday, that is one of my strategies that I have to play, and that's just me. I look at the long side on these stocks because no matter what the news comes out, no matter the bad news, if you're good, you got good news, and that's going to be crazy into the upside, right? But it doesn't matter what kind of bad news comes out when you're over 80%. In general, for me, at least in my experience, it could be any bad news at all. It could be anything. And if it's down over 80% intraday, it's already priced in. And as of right now, I don't know, why this is selling off. Obviously, we have JWell kind of selling off, and that's kind of what happened. And then dogs, But all these stocks, they sold off, but they didn't really, they didn't really sell off with this kind of volume and this far down, right? So we saw what happened to dogs, right? Dogs, had a nice move down, and then we moved about 70% off the lows, okay? 250 up to 450, right? And that kind of move is what we're looking for tomorrow. Now, with PETZ, a stock down 80% that closes, okay. So first of all, a stock that closes weak, into the close, it closes weak, that's down over 80%. That's even more of a reason for me to be strong feeling about this one overnight. What it felt like to me was on this name is, generally speaking, this felt like kind of just like a seller algo, just keeps selling and selling and selling. This thing's down massive, right? It's obvious, 80%. When it closed weak, that was even more confirmation because generally these do gap up. When you get a stock down even 50% and it closes weak into the close with a lot of volume, they generally gap up. Okay, not always, but that much more said, if it does make a dog's move and go down even that much more, I'm willing to add a little bit too. Because, at the end of the day, a stock down this quickly, I know that, guys, I've heard it all. Offerings, warrants, dilution, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Not on something down 80%. Not on something down 80% in general. Now, I was hoping for more of a bounce into the close or into the after hours move, but in general, it's still making a bounce. We're not seeing those 70-cent lows. But in general, guys, when it have a movement down 80%, that's the number one. Number two, it closes weak. That's even better of a confirmation. Number three, it's right around $1 range, which is that much more. So I have a lot of things going for me in this stock. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. Okay, and there are stocks that I'm generally, not willing to risk, right? What's going on on TikTok, guys? What's going on TikTok? You guys want to see me or the screen? Me or the screen, guys? Answer me that. But anyways, guys, so, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to take percentages and what's worked for me and use it, right? And number four, the biggest thing too, is this thing is churning a lot of volume. This thing is churning. It has already traded on the day 110 million shares. So when a stock's down over 80% and, has churned that much more volume than the rest, JWell and dogs, right? And that's even more of a reason why I feel like there can be a bounce. When it's a light, like JWell is a perfect example to me of a light volume sell-off, right? JWell comes down, you get your solid volume in here. Whoops. JWell comes down, but it's pretty light. You're pretty light volume in here, right? I mean, it's nothing insane. It's just a lighter kind of sell-off. Let's go back to the 1 minute here. Yeah, I mean, it's just like kind of on air, right? And now we're down all of a sudden, 60, 70%. Not even 80%, right? So that's number one. This is why I don't, didn't really like JWell for the bounce. I mean, I watched it and I kept kind of like trying to play it and I made a little money on it, but for the most part, I lost on it. Dogs was the other one, but this one actually ran. And why? If you look at the volume, this thing was selling off right about in here with a lot more volume, and then especially right in here. Look at the volume in here, guys. I mean, this thing goes from 250 and in 5 to 10 minutes gaps and halts 348 and runs all the way up to 450, and it is just running, right? And I know that JWell didn't bounce, right? But in general, when you see a stock down over 80%, after the 80%, I look at the volume. And if the volume's churning, that's the second confirmation I look for. And then I look for, does it close weak on the day? That's the third confirmation. And is it around $1? That's all kind of things I look at. And, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. A couple of things could happen, and I know a lot of you guys are like, well, how do you take on this much risk? And I realize, you're down a lot and et cetera, and I know that I'm down a lot. And I know that, I'm taking on a lot of risk. But that's because I usually see, a really, really high percentage of opportunity on these names. And I also see a big bounce. Generally when something's down 80%, I might be seeing a bounce of 50 to 100+%. I mean, look at dogs. It bounced 60+%, right? In about 10, 15, 20 minutes. And it's very quick too. So I also know that on PETZ, the hold levels are very close to where the price is. And I don't know if that's going to keep up tomorrow, but I saw that, So if this thing starts to hold up, it's even that much more of when it's SSR to get trapped, shorts to get trapped in this name. I'm not saying, I'm playing this long term. I'm just short term. So, and I realize I'm down and I'm willing to take the loss if things don't go accordingly. But, in this account, I'm in at 93 average. In another account, I'm in about 74 average, 75 average, somewhere in there. And I really like the way this thing closed weak. I mean, I didn't want to see my account go under, 100,000 unrealized. But I did want to see it close weak. So, it was definitely something that I was looking at. So, yeah, I mean, three things can happen tomorrow. One, we get a nice wash like dogs down to, let's say 60 cents or so. And, I'll probably be adding into the wash in the morning if it starts to wash. The second thing that could happen is this thing gaps to $1, $1.10, and I might take off a piece at that point. I don't know. It's going to depend upon how the pre-market action looks. And then, I might take a little bit of a size down dip opportunity. Let's say if it dips off like 90 cents, and then, I might take a little bit of an add into the 90 cent, like a smaller size position, not this big a position. And see if we get a nice hold up through like 120s, 130s, 140s maybe if things start rolling. The third thing is, this thing obviously the worst situation would be this thing just gaps down and fizzles throughout the day, and then have to stop out. I'll be honest though, JWell, I get it. That's definitely what happened on JWell, but to me this setup's a lot different than JWell. I know that Dogs has done it, and now we're looking at PETZ that's done it, but there's multiple things that are different, and Dogs had a nice bounce. And this wasn't even down as far. I think at this point from the highs, it was down like 77%. We're already down 80. I think the max was like 82.2% or something on the day, maybe almost 83%. So, that's generally speaking, PETZ, we'll see. Ideally this happens, we start halting up, and, I take pieces off, and it's a happy day. But no matter what happens tomorrow on this name, whether it gaps down, whether it gaps up, whether it goes sideways, I'm not going to not try this opportunity. This is something that works for me. It doesn't necessarily have to work for you. And I know I don't like to generally say what I'm long, but this thing's trading 110 million shares. I just wanted to give you guys, I know I talked about it a lot today. So I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents on this name and why I'm looking at it. And hopefully you guys learn something from it. And we'll see how it reacts tomorrow. Nothing is guaranteed, guys. I'm hoping, this thing gaps to 110s, maybe even 120s if we're doing well. Totally plausible. Seen it many times throughout my career with this kind of setup. I've seen things go as high as probably, 260s. So anything's possible. Today it just felt like this thing was getting sold off by some algo. And then tomorrow, I just have a feeling that algo is gonna be gone, and it's gonna react totally different on the level 2 and the time and sales, and this thing's just gonna fly. That's why I started longing it throughout the day. And but I've seen everything in this market. Nothing surprises me anymore. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. At the end of the day, like I said, nothing's for sure. So hopefully you guys understand that. And a lot of you guys ask, why am I taking risk on this setup? what makes you understand risk and how do you learn risk and what makes you take on this much risk in this setup? And the reason being, I'm very confident in it. If I have a confident setup that's backed by stats that I've studied over the years, that I've seen time and time again, I'll size up, and I'm willing to fluctuate my P&L quite a bit. Now, if it's a stock that I'm not quite convicted in, like let's put for an example, right? HOUR, I wasn't convicted in this play, even though it was a winner. I took small size right in, where was it? It was like right in here, and I sold off right in there, and that was it. I took a nice little piece of the move, and this thing went all the way up to 920. And the reason being, because I wasn't highly convicted, but I did have a little, I want to say data or a little bit of conviction behind the setup. But I'm not as convicted, obviously, as PETZ. And what does conviction mean, guys? Conviction means how much time have you put into every setup. So if there's a setup that works for you, and it works time and time again, and that works for you, great. Then that's what I call conviction, and it works at an 80, 90, 100%, or not 100%, but 95% clip rate for you, great. But it also varies on how much volatility are you going to see. And on PETZ, I've seen these things bounce as much as, 50, 70, I've seen as high as 150 plus %, on crazy days. So we'll see. We'll see. I have no idea. Nothing can predict what's coming. I'm just sharing what has worked for me in my career, and we'll see what happens from there. So, anyways, guys, hopefully you guys understand that. A lot of you guys ask me, what makes you take on this kind of risk? Well, there you go. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click the icon if I make new videos. I'm not a financial advisor. Trade your own risk. I have a plan, a process, a strategy. Free chat and description below. My course, you have process, description below. Brokers that I use, all in description below. Brokers choose 2 free stocks, all in description below. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your trading day, guys. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, PETZ bounced 300% on an offering, I'm sure. Stuff like that happens all the time. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. I'm holding this one overnight, pretty big in multiple accounts, but like I said, hopefully it's a green and happy day tomorrow for me and especially for you guys, because I know some of you guys took this trade. But I hope that you're going to trade your plan, your process, and your strategy. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay? Subscribe to the channel. Click the icon to alert if I make new videos. Cheers, team, and go Hawks. Those of you guys on TikTok, I'll see you. If you guys have any questions, I can answer them. Just like subscribe to the channel. Click the icon to alert if I make new videos. Cheers, team, and go Hawks.